Hello everyone and welcome back to Bring Your Own Popcorn. So today we are going to continue going through my physical media collection and I'm going to show you my MCU collection, so the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is one of the greatest franchises of all time in my opinion. I only watched them for the first time during the first lockdown in 2020. That was when I binged all the MCU movies and I got addicted basically, and now I own them all individually. I used to own these big clunky box sets but I hated them, and I sold them, got a good bit of money, basically got back what I paid for them, and yeah, I've now collected matching slipcovers up to Endgame, and then from Endgame onwards I've been collecting the 4Ks. So yeah, let's just kick it off with the first MCU movie, and that is Iron Man. So these are the type of slips that I collect. I think these are the only matching ones that you can get. So there's the front right there. All of them look fairly similar and they have got the original artwork underneath as well, I'm pretty sure. There's the back, and if we take this out, very similar artwork, but that's the original artwork underneath. There's the back, and yeah, just a blue disc inside and no background artwork. Yeah, I love Iron Man. What a great film. It is actually, I would say, quite underrated in the MCU. Not a lot of people give this a lot of credit for what it started. It really started the MCU. Obviously, it's the first one, but it really started something really fresh in the terms of creating movie franchises. So a lot of people don't give this a lot of credit. I think it deserves a lot of credit. Robert Downey Jr. of course is amazing. Gwyneth Paltrow. Terrence Howard is in this one instead of Don Cheadle, who later comes in and plays War Machine. Jeff Bridges, I was never a big fan of his performance in this film, but yeah, it's still a really good movie, and what a great way to kick off the MCU. Coming in next, we have The Incredible Hulk. Now, funny story about The Incredible Hulk. So I watched Iron Man, and I was like, yeah, this is good, this is better than I thought it was going to be. I'm really interested to see where this MCU is going. And then I watched The Incredible Hulk, and it almost made me stop. It almost made me just stop watching the MCU. I hated this film. It was so boring, and I think the worst part about it was I thought this would be... I'm not very familiar with The Incredible Hulk. I never watched the show that came out like back in the 80s or anything, so I wasn't too familiar with the character. I just knew he was a big green guy who smashed stuff. But they do not... I thought this would be an origin story like Iron Man. It is not. It throws you in at the deep end. There's a 5-minute like flashback sequence at the start that's meant to like recap how he became the Hulk. It's really poorly done, I would say. Edward Norton gives an okay performance in this film. Mark Ruffalo, a lot better, I think, when he took on the role. Liv Tyler really annoys me. I don't really like her at all, apart from probably in Lord of the Rings. And Tim Roth, I actually think's pretty cool as Abomination in this. He was a good choice. But there we go, there's the front, there's the back. Then you've got not very nice underground artwork there. Underground? Original artwork. Don't know why I said underground. And there's the inside. Yeah, it's not a good movie. Not a good movie at all. On a good day, I'd give this probably a 3 out of 10. I'm really not a fan. Coming in next is Iron Man 2. Yeah, it's okay. It is okay. It's not as good as Iron Man 1, but it's a decent film. Now you've got Don Cheadle in the role this time, which I think he's a lot better than Terrence Howard. Gwyneth Paltrow back, Robert Downey Jr. Scarlett Johansson makes her debut in this film as Black Widow. You've got Sam Jackson in this one. Mickey Rourke, who actually plays an underrated villain with Whiplash. So yeah, there's the front, there's the back, and then there is the not very nice original artwork. Oh, you've got a little, we've got a little leaflet here which shows you the full collection. Yeah, it's an okay film. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10-ish. Yeah, I don't mind it, but it's definitely not as good as Iron Man 1. Coming in next is a film that I actually think is incredibly underrated. It's actually one of my favourites from Phase 1 of the MCU, and that is Thor. I really enjoy Thor. Chris Hemsworth gives a great performance, obviously. Tom Hiddleston as Loki, amazing. Anthony Hopkins, amazing. And I think this film was the one in Phase 1, apart from maybe the first Avengers, that actually managed to get the humour just right. I find this film really, really funny. So there's the front, there's the back, and there's the original artwork. And I'm guessing it's, yeah, just blue disc inside. Yeah, I really like Thor. I really enjoy it. I know a lot of people think it's a weak film. I would actually give this like a solid 7 out of 10. I really enjoy Thor. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. I really enjoy it, but most people don't. Coming in next, we have Captain America: The First Avenger. I'm not a massive fan of this movie. It's alright. It's definitely the weakest Captain America film, and apart from Incredible Hulk, the weakest in Phase 1 for me. There's the front right there. There's the back. And I have to say, that artwork's really nice. That's really nice. All the performances are really cool, really good. Red Skull's a pretty cool villain. But other than that, there isn't a lot going for it. I would give it like a 5 out of 10. It's not my favourite at all. Coming in next, we have one of my favourite MCU films, Avengers Assemble. The first time I was like, okay, Marvel, you've got me hooked. This was the movie where I was like hooked. Look at that cover, that's awesome. And there's the back. And there's that original artwork right there. I'm going to guess a blue disc. There we go. Oh, I think that's a bit nicer. The title's a bit more striking. Yeah, it's a great film. It is really good. Probably a solid 9 out of 10 for this movie. It is really good. It really holds up to this day, I think. Everyone gives a great performance in the movie. And Loki, a phenomenal villain in this film. So, yeah. If you haven't seen Avengers Assemble, check it out. I would say you don't have to be too familiar with the other films. The story gets a lot more complex as we go through the MCU, so don't like stick on a random film within that, like Avengers Infinity War. You won't have a clue what's going on, or Endgame or something. But I would actually say you can watch this on its own and get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So yeah, Avengers Assemble. Kicking off Phase 2 in a pretty poor way with 2 films. The first 2 films in Phase 2 are not good films. Iron Man 3, definitely the weakest Iron Man movie in my opinion. I'm not a fan. The Mandarin twist I don't mind as much as some folk. I know a lot of people hate it. I don't particularly like it. But I don't mind it as much as some people. I think Robert Downey Jr. is at his worst in this film. I think he actually gives his worst performance of Iron Man in this movie. And I'd say the same for Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. They're both not on their top form in this film. And it does not deserve to be one of the highest grossing Marvel films. It does not deserve that title. I think it was because it was right after Avengers, folk were like, oh, we're interested, and then they got this. And also the whole giving Iron Man PTSD and stuff like that. It's very... I'm not saying that nobody like that could get PTSD, but I always thought it was very out of character for him, and he recovers in like one movie. It's never brought up again. So yeah, that is Iron Man 3. And then we've got an even weaker film with Thor the Dark World. This is a lot of people's least favourite. I think it's my third least favourite. We've had Incredible Hulk, which is my least favourite, and we've not came to my second least favourite yet, but this is definitely down there. It's not a great film at all. Nobody really gives a good performance in it. The direction's a bit all over the place. The story's a bit all over the place. Christopher Eccleston plays an awful villain in this film. It's just not great. So there's the back. And then, ooh, I don't know what I think about that original artwork. I wasn't expecting it. And then you've got the inside right here. Yeah, it's not a good movie. Obviously I'm not going to recommend skipping it. There's not a lot you need to know from this film. Well, when you get to Endgame, there's a bit you need to know. But it's not a great movie. So yeah, definitely one of the weakest MCU films. But then we get one of the best MCU films. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It is my favourite Captain America film and one of my favourite Marvel films. I absolutely love this film. It kind of done what The Dark Knight did, where it took a very comic book kind of story and almost turned it into kind of a action thriller, like kind of crime film, which is amazing. And the action is so well filmed in this movie. It is absolutely unreal. There's the front. You've got Scarlett Johansson back as Black Widow and Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. There's the back. And there's the inside. And this film has a great twist in it. Yeah, this is definitely one of the best MCU movies. Yeah, there you go. And this introduces Falcon. Anthony Mackie as Falcon, who is one of my favourite characters in the MCU. So yeah, there you go. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Coming in next, we have a film I wasn't crazy about when I first watched it, but after a rewatch it's definitely grown on me, and that is the original Guardians of the Galaxy. It is a good movie. It's really funky. It was definitely a new turning over a new page for the MCU, kind of a fresh take on a superhero film, directed by James Gunn, who is a great director. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe this film. Funky. It is very funky. The music's amazing in it. Performances are great. It's very funny. Bradley Cooper gives an amazing voice performance as Rocket. I love that original artwork. Look at that. That's so cool. There's the back. And there's the inside. Yes, it is a great film. I would give it like a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. I would really recommend Guardians of the Galaxy. This is one that I think you could watch without watching the rest. I think there are a couple references and stuff, but it is a very standalone film. So yeah, definitely check out Guardians of the Galaxy if you haven't seen it. Coming in next, we have Avengers Age of Ultron. A very underrated movie. A lot of people don't seem to like this one that much. I really enjoy it. I would give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. This is a very good movie. I can't remember who plays Ultron. James Spader gives an incredible voice performance in this film. And everyone is just done their top notch. There is a kind of relationship thing between Black Widow and Hulk that is never really brought up again in any other films, so that is a bit random, I have to say. But yeah, everyone's great in this film. So there's the front right there, and there's the back, and then there's the original artwork right there. And you get introduced to Vision in this movie right there, and Wanda, who is my favourite MCU character. Wanda is top tier. Wanda and Vision are like my top two. And then we'll open this up, and you get to see inside right there. Yeah, it's a great movie. Kind of slept on in the MCU, I have to say, but I really, really enjoy it. And finishing Phase 2 is AntMan. This is a really fun film. Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Pena, I think that's how you pronounce that name. There's the front right there with AntMan standing, and then there's the back. And then I really like this original artwork, actually. I really like that. I wasn't that excited to watch this film. I don't think you ever are very excited to watch an origin movie in the MCU because you're getting so used to the original characters. But this one's really good. It's really funny. Michael Douglas gives a great performance. Paul Rudd gives a great performance. And it's directed really well. I can't remember the guy's name. Peyton Reed. Peyton Reed, who done some of The Mandalorian, directed this, and it is very, very well directed. So yeah, definitely check out AntMan. It's another kind of standalone one. Yeah, definitely check this out if you get the chance. Kicking off Phase 3 is Captain America Civil War. What a movie. This was like Avengers like 2.5. Because basically every Avenger's in it except for Hulk. I don't think Hulk's in it. But there you go, there's the front. This is obviously the film where Captain America and Iron Man have a fight. Oh, that's really nice artwork right there. This is kind of the big Fallout movie where the Avengers split. There's the inside. It is really good. It is very good. A solid 8 out of 10. It's not one of my favourites. A lot of people really, really think this is up in like top 3. It's definitely my top 10, but not top 3 for me. I would actually say I prefer Winter Soldier over this, just slightly. But yeah, this is a very good film and a great start to Phase 3 of the MCU. Coming in next is one that I'm very mixed on, and that is Doctor Strange. Now, I really, really like the character of Doctor Strange later on in the MCU. I do not like his character that much in this film. I don't actually think Benedict Cumberbatch gives a great performance of Doctor Strange in this film. He becomes a lot more into the character, I would say, in Infinity War. But there's the front right there. There's the back. And there is the original artwork, and then, oh, who'd have guessed it? Blue disc. Yeah, Doctor Strange. It's all right. I have to say this: it is one of the best directed and best looking MCU films. The effects in this film are very similar to Inception. I have to say, copying Inception just a tiny bit, but they're still mind blowing effects. And I can't remember her name. Tilda Swinton gives a fantastic performance in this film. Mads Mikkelsen isn't great in this movie, I have to say. He's a very forgettable villain, I think. And I would expect more from Mads Mikkelsen because he played one of my favourite Bond villains, Le Chiffre from Casino Royale. But yeah, Doctor Strange, I'm not a massive fan, but it's not a bad movie. Probably about a 5.5, 6 out of 10. And I hate the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending sucks. I know I'm going to get a lot of stick for this, but I think this is in my top 5 MCU films, and I prefer this film to the first one. I love this movie. I think it's the best looking MCU film. I think it's the best directed MCU film. I also think it's the funniest MCU film. Yes, funnier than Thor Ragnarok. I know a lot of people would pick that, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's very, very mixed between fans, this movie. You either love it or you hate it. I absolutely love this film. I like a 9.5 out of 10. This film is fantastic. The twist at the end of this movie, I won't give anything away, is one of the greatest twists in any movie ever, I think. You never see it coming at all. So there's the front right there. There's the back. I also think this film's a lot funnier than the first one, which I think is what I need from a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. There's definitely a lot of humour, because the films don't take themselves too seriously. And there's the disc right there. It is a fantastic film. I couldn't recommend this film more. Kurt Russell gives an incredible performance as Igor, I believe his name is. Everybody gives a great performance again in this movie. Dave Bautista, I think, gives his best performance of Drax in this movie. And the soundtrack again is fantastic. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, definitely check out Guardians of the Galaxy. Check out the entire MCU. But when you get to this one, I have to say this one is definitely one of my favourites. I absolutely love this movie. I can put it on any time and get enjoyment out of it. Coming in next is... oh, I've got some controversial things to say about this one as well. Spider-Man Homecoming. I do enjoy the movie. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like it. I really enjoy it. There's the front. There's the back. And then there's the original artwork right there. I don't know how controversial this is to say. Oh, you've got... oh, you've got stuff. You've got disc artwork. It's not great, but you've got disc artwork. And you've got... is that a download? That's a download code. You got a comic. I didn't even know this. You get a comic with the Blu-ray, apparently. That's another reason to buy it. A wee mini comic. Yeah, so the controversial thing I'll say about this movie. I don't know how controversial it is, but I'll say it anyway. Vulture, played by Mr. Michael Keaton, is my favourite MCU villain. I think he plays that character so well. The twist that happens with him is fantastically done. And I think I really respect a villain when you can see them almost turning nice and you can see a good side of them. I don't like villains that are just outright totally psychotic and evil very much. I like the whole nice side, and I like how, oh, he could be a good guy if he just stopped doing this. I love that about Vulture in this movie. I love when a villain has a humane side. Don't make him totally inhumane. That really takes you out of a film for me. But there you go. That is Spider-Man Homecoming. I need to talk about Tom Holland as well. He gives a great performance of Spider-Man in this movie. And his friend, I can't remember who plays him. His friend, is it Nick or Ned? Ned. Yeah, Ned. He gives a great performance as well. Zendaya. It doesn't play a lot in this film, but she is still good. She comes in to the sequel a lot. But yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming. It is a really good MCU film. Coming in next is the best Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok. Taika Waititi, you are a genius. Thank you for directing such a masterpiece. Yeah, everyone gives great performances, and this film is flippin' hilarious. Really, really funny movie. Especially Korg, he really gets me. I really find... oh, sorry. Look at that artwork, that's really nice. Yeah, Korg really gets me in this film. So the reason this film went such a different route is because they knew they had to change Thor's character up, because a lot of people wasn't a big fan of it in the first two films. So they changed him up here, and I think for the better. Some people disagree, think he shouldn't have become funny, and kind of the butt of jokes. But yeah, this is a great movie. Taika Waititi directs this film so well. The colour is beautiful. It uses a lot of green and a lot of yellow and a lot of orange. It's really nice looking. And the ending of this film with the soundtrack and just Thor. I can't say too much because I don't want to give away spoilers, but the end battle with Thor is one of the best battles in MCU. So, that is Thor Ragnarok. I have to say, I'm not a massive fan of this film. It's alright, and that is Black Panther. Like, it was the first MCU film I think, to be nominated for Best Picture. And so many films before this deserved that, rather than this. Like, the only reason this was nominated for Best Picture by the Academy was because it had an all black cast, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but that is the only reason the Academy gave this a nomination. It wasn't actually that great a film. Now, I will say all the acting in this movie is fantastic. Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Martin Freeman and Forest Whitaker all give fantastic performances in this movie. Michael B. Jordan especially, I think, as the villain, gives a great performance. But there's the front right there. There's the back. I will say that I'm not a big fan of the direction of this movie. I don't actually think the effects look that great in some places, I have to say. And yeah, there's the inside right there. It's an okay film. I wouldn't go below a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 5. It is like definitely midway point. It's not as good as most of the films in the MCU, I have to say. And I know that's very controversial because it's a well-loved movie. But yeah, there you go. That is Black Panther. Here we go. Here we go. Avengers Infinity War, my favourite MCU movie. This film is flipping fantastic. I like this more than Endgame, personally. All the action's phenomenal, the effects look amazing, it's so well directed, the writing is spot on, and the ending will break your heart. It is such a fantastic film. Thanos, played by Josh Brolin, my second favourite villain in the MCU. It goes Vulture, Thanos, Loki. They're like my top 3 villains. Then probably Ultron. But there you go, there's the front, there's the back, and there's that incredible original artwork right there. There's the back. Oh look, a blue disc. I wish they'd like done a bit inside, a bit of background artwork, a bit of colour on the disc. It doesn't hurt anyone. This film, I can't say much about it. You have to watch the entire MCU before you watch this. But just watch the MCU and get to this. It is such a good movie. I can't say much without like spoiling everything. But this is definitely the big team up movie, and yeah, it's so good. I would really recommend. Okay, one of my least favourite Marvel films. AntMan and the Wasp. I don't have a lot to say about it. I don't like it. I have to say I don't like this movie. It's funny in places. It's definitely not as funny as the first one. I don't think the acting's great. Paul Rudd's good in it. But everyone else gives a kind of subpar performance. Even Michael Douglas, in my opinion, not great. And the woman who plays the mother, I can't remember who plays her, but she doesn't give a great performance. I will say though, so there's the cover first of all, and there's the back. The original artwork's really nice. I really like that. I'm going to guess a blue disc. Oh look. Yeah, not a fan. It is one of my least favourite Marvel films. I don't think the performances are great, the direction's that great. The story is, I think, what lacks the most. I think they just really wanted an excuse of a story to show what Ant-Man was doing during Infinity War. I will say the post-credit scene's amazing, and really took me by surprise. But yeah, that is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Coming in next. Oh, I'm going to get shit for this. I know it. Captain Marvel. I love it. It's a good movie. I don't get the... First of all, right, I'll say this. Samuel Jackson's de-aging and the effects they did on him is phenomenal. It looks amazing. I think Brie Larson gives a good performance. I think the story is really interesting. I don't know what to say. I really enjoy Captain Marvel. So there's the front right there. There's the back, and then here is the original artwork. I will say that's not amazing. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Captain Marvel, and I don't get why. There are a few bits I'm not a fan of, especially the reveal of how Nick Fury lost his eye. Not a massive fan of that. But I would give this like a solid 7.5 out of 10. I really, really like Captain Marvel, and I've met a few people in the movie community that I'm in that will agree with me that Captain Marvel is a good film. But yeah, Captain Marvel. I know I'm going to get a lot of crap in the comments if a lot of people see this video. But I like it, what can I say? Okay. Avengers Endgame, here we go. The big finale movie. There it is. It's phenomenal, what can I say? I'm not actually going to say much about it because I don't want to give any spoilers. All the performances are amazing, the direction's fantastic, the way that it wraps up Phase 3 is actually phenomenal. The fact that we got this in the same... I enjoy Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, but we got the big wrap-up for Marvel and the big wrap-up for Star Wars in the same year, and the fact that they two films competed to get together was unreal, because this film is far superior to Rise of Skywalker. And that's coming from someone who actually enjoys Rise of Skywalker. This film wraps up everything so much better. It actually says in the back here, huge, epic, amazing, incredible, jaw-dropping, the list goes on and on. I couldn't describe it actually better myself. So there's the front, there's the back, and that incredible artwork right there. Look at that. And I think this, oh it does, it has 2 discs. It has, is this a special features disc? It doesn't say. Oh no, a bonus disc, so normal one there and the bonus disc over there. But yeah, it is a fantastic film, and it's the reason to watch the MCU, to get to this. I will never forget my first time watching Avengers Endgame and the whole end 45 minutes. Not even being able to stay in my seat, cheating in my living room. It is so good. Yeah, that is Avengers Endgame. Okay, so now the artwork changes because they stopped doing these slips with Avengers Endgame, which, fair enough, it was a solid time to stop, but I wouldn't have minded if they continued with these slips. I enjoy them, but I started collecting the 4Ks anyway, which come with their own kind of artwork and slips. So first we have SpiderMan Far From Home, the film that comes after Endgame and the last film of Phase 3, which I think it should have been the first film of Phase 4, but anyway, it doesn't matter. There's the front, there's the back, and then it's the same artwork underneath with 4Ks, I'm pretty sure. But you actually get disc artwork, which is nice. So there's your disc artwork right there. So you get the 4K over here, and you get the regular Blu-ray over here. I really enjoy Far From Home. I don't enjoy it as much as Homecoming, personally. I know some people do, some people don't. I think Jake Gyllenhaal gives a great performance in this film as Mephisto, or is it Mysterio? It's Mysterio, isn't it? Yes, Mysterio. I can't read in the back. Mysterio. I'm pretty sure. Where am I getting Mephisto from? Is that a villain? It's probably an upcoming villain I've read about or something. But yeah, I really enjoy Far From Home. It's not up there in like my top 10 MCU films, but it's still a fairly good movie, and it actually does a good job of coming straight after Endgame. It doesn't try and outdo Endgame, which I really appreciated, but it gives a few nods, and it just really appreciates what Endgame does. Like, imagine Endgame's the big epic, and this is like the aftermath, I would say. So yeah, that is Spider-Man Far From Home. Kicking off the Phase 4 of the MCU, we have Black Widow. I didn't mind this film. I know a lot of people didn't like it. Florence Pugh gives a great performance. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who plays the dad who's in Stranger Things. Is it something Harbour? David Harbour. David Harbour gives a great performance. Scarlett Johansson gives a great performance. It is a very, very good film. So there's the front right there. There's the back. Again, same artwork underneath. You get and then you have artwork on the discs with 4K. So there's the 4K disc, and then if you flip it over, there is the Blu-ray disc with Florence Pugh. Yeah, I enjoy this movie. It is a very good action film, I'd say. It is probably one of the better action films, I think, in the MCU. Just like pure action. And I love the whole end half an hour on the Red Room in the sky. That is all awesome. So yeah, that is Black Widow. And let's do the last one for now. I'll get Eternals when it's out. I've not seen Eternals yet, because I had COVID when it was like doing its main cinema run, so I haven't had the chance to go see it yet. And things are coming out that I'm going to see the Rocky director's cut tonight. It might have been the night previous if I upload this tomorrow. And I'm going to see on Sunday, I'm going to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. But there's a lot in the cinema I want to go see. I've just not had the chance to go see Eternals yet. But I did see this in the cinema, and I really, really enjoyed it. That is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is a great, great origin story. I wasn't expecting it to be this great. And I really like the artwork. Look at that. And I love the embossing on the rings. Look at that. And there's the back. Same artwork. And then you have your 2 discs inside. Great movie. Absolutely phenomenal movie. I would give it like a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoy this. It came above Black Widow. If we're ranking Phase 4, this is my favourite thing in Phase 4 so far. This is second. If you're counting TV shows, WandaVision and Loki, I think, came above this for me. But yeah, out of movies, this is my favourite in Phase 4 so far, and this is my second favourite. I don't know where Eternals will come. I can maybe have a guess at where the new SpiderMan will come, seeing as how hyped I am, because the trailers look so bloody good. But yeah, Shang-Chi, very, very good film. Okay, so thank you for watching this long video. I was about to say long film. Long video. It was almost a film. Thank you for watching this long video. Thank you for sticking to the end if you have. And yeah, I'll do more physical media collection videos in the future, so stay tuned for them. I will be doing rankings very soon. I'm going to rank up there. I watched all of them for Halloween in October, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I've still watched the remake, so after I watch the remake, I'll be ranking them. And I'm just going to quickly promo my Letterboxd again right now. Every film that I watch, I review, and I put it on my Letterboxd. It's down in the description. You'll see all my reviews there. You get to read all my reviews for the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. You get to see what I thought of Star Wars, the MCU. I have a ranking of the MCU on there. Just everything that I love. And if you want to hear my thoughts about something, you can go on there. I've logged every film in my collection on there. So if you want to if you want to know what I think of Top Gun, it's on my Letterboxd. You want to know what I think of The Shining, it's on my Letterboxd. Harry Potter, on my Letterboxd. Anything that I've seen is on there, so definitely go down and check that out. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.